thank you for tuning in to How Not to Build. As described in episode 1, this is what not to do when you're building anything. First lesson today is buy a truck and haul all your stuff in a truck, not a Ford Fiesta, as demonstrated. Can't fit much in a Ford Fiesta, but it gets the job done. The next thing is to make sure that everything is clean and clear. As you can tell, it is not. And there's junk everywhere. So, you also notice, again, as we said in episode 1, no guards on the saws. Always have a guard. Don't be an idiot. Next thing you're going to know is it's raining outside. You probably don't want to do any work while it's raining. We're going to do it. Don't follow my example. Now, today's project is going to be a wishing well. We're going to do as much as we can without measuring, because that's the way I like to do things. It's the wrong way. Do not do it. We're going to put the base together and see how far we can get before we have to stop. So let's get started. Alright, now that we've unloaded everything, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm actually going to sand. This is really shitty wood from a big orange company that doesn't know how to buy wood. But it's always cheap, and these are just studs. They're not treated. Should always buy treated. Should always buy the right kind of wood. I don't. So don't do that. But I'm going to sand it down, make it a little bit smoother, and well, let me get started on that. Alright, well, I'm trying to get this extension cord out from under here because, again, didn't think. Don't do that. Always think. Gotcha. Alright. Knocking a whole bunch of shit down. That ain't the end I was thinking, I was looking for. Alright. This is not even rolled up right. I'm gonna take the blame on that one. You hear all that thunder. You shouldn't be working with power tools in thunder. Probably not. I don't know. I actually don't know shit about what I'm doing. So, what you gotta look at is what I'm doing and don't do it. That's the premise of the show, right? Well, I believe it is. So, put that little thing down in there. Where the fuck is my sand? Fire. Alright, now that I got my sander, this is a little Black & Decker, a little electric sander. Not much to it. It's a pretty decent tool. I have no idea what grit sandpaper I left on it. It feels pretty smooth. Don't really care. Not going for perfect, going for a wishing well. So let's go ahead and try. I'm going to just jump over a couple boards, try to get it out. Knock this down. This table is actually meant to support my table saw, which is actually on a folding table. So, you know, do things right. Don't do it my way. I don't know if you can see some of the writing on here. Right in here. That's all I'm really sanding to take off. So let's give it a little try. Like my roommates always tell me, that is a genuine Corbin job. Not quite done, but good enough. And you can really hear that rain pouring down. So, woo! Now that we have the sanded, we're going to take this over to the table saw, do some cuts, get that base built. Base. Alright, as you can see, I did not plan this out. My table saw too close to the wall. That's a shame. That is what thinking ahead doesn't get you. So now we gotta move everything. You see, this is kind of a mess. Don't ask me why, because I'd have to tell you I make a mess and I don't clean it up. Silver spray paint's in now, gold edger, back. Dragon balls just hanging around. Oh, all 7. Move this table over here. Let's see if this gives me. Ooh, that is tight. That door is tight. All right. Well, that was pretty loud. Now, I should have enough room for the table saw to do the cut. We're going to try it. Slide it a little bit this way. Now I have adequate room for the cut. The problem is, how are we going to build this wishing line? Well, I want to do an octagon. I built several hexagons, so I need to build an octagon. Alright, so Now we're going to cut these into some hexagons. That's on what, 11 inches? That might work. So, take this, put it at 30 inches. Gonna lock it, and not 30 inches. 30. We're gonna put that on 30 degrees. All right. So then, we take this big old chunk of wood here, butt it up to this stopper. I don't know the real name for it. Then, I take it. That gives me shape like this. Looks like it probably worked. Looks a little small, but it'll do. And then I just gotta make a whole bunch of things just like this. So let me hop to it. You should always wear eye protection, gloves, all that good shit. Now we have a whole bunch of these. The nice thing is I don't need to measure. This is all going to be exactly the same. All going to stay at 11 inches. It is all going to stay at 11 inches. Start screwing some stuff together. So let's go ahead and move everything and get it all going. Alright. Now that we have these all cut, we're going to go ahead and start putting them together. And a lot of people like to put the ends together just like this. It's a little sloppy if it's not done perfect. So I'm very sloppy, and I won't do it that way. Instead, we're going to position it just like this here. Gives it a little bit of a nicer look for sloppy people. Lay it out. just like this. It is just a smidgen off. The wood should pull together nicely. So once it's all screwed together, it'll look a lot better. Let me grab my drill. Some Decamate screws. Lots of it. Rigid drill. Nice little drill bit here. Now, this bottom layer, I'm going to screw together one screw into each one. These Decamate screws are made for decks, so they will hold up. So, first things first, gotta make sure the pattern is set correctly. Let's make sure everything lines up right. It's going to be a little hard because this table sucks. So, first things first, get one side in. So I'm going to grab the screw. There you go. In right here. Hold that steady. Now, some people think you should pre-drill. You get a nice drill. You don't need to do any of that. So we're going to turn this. Grab another screw. Another one in. So on and so forth until it is complete. Alright, that bottom layer is now we're going to take these and we're going to offset them so that way they drill in right here. Now again, people like to drill in or pre-drill the holes. Waste of time. Because, well, if this was going in the house, we'd want it perfect. I want it to look not great, so it looks like it's rustic. Ooh. Other people like to use clamps on these things. Nope, because I'm too lazy to grab the clamps. See, that's why it comes off. You should probably use a clamp. Alright. Now that's the first and second layer. I'm going to do another layer. Again, offsetting everything. So, should be alright. This time, however, I'm going to be putting the screws in a different spot instead of all the corners. The first two layers, it's important to have them in those spots. The next few layers, as long as it's all connecting, we're all good. Alright, we're back. The drill spent about 5 minutes in the freezer. Don't recommend that, but it cools mine down. We got all the holes drilled, so now let's dump out that sawdust and line them up. Again, here's my drill overheated. So, gonna give it a break. I'll be back. Alright, now that is done, the easy part starts. These on the sides. Sand over this one more time. Make sure that any of the big mistakes are turned into small mistakes. That way it gives it a little bit more of a realistic appearance. Still gonna give it rustic, but not. That's taken care of. That on the ground. Clean this all up here. That gets rid of all the sawdust. Now it's ready for painting. So this here is exterior paint, white paint, because we want it to be white. Exterior, because it's going outside. Always use that. Even if this is not how not to build, you should probably do this. Because while it's not the right way to build things, we want them to last. And also you're going to see a pretty shitty paint job come through here. So I drop paint right in the middle here. Makes it real nice and easy. Throw a coat onto it. Now we sanded it, which made it smooth, but it should have also opened up the wood to allow the paint to go in. So we're going to get this generous coat, and we might have to go over it one more time. While this dries, once we're done, while this dries, we will go through and make sure to build the top. It shouldn't take too long. It's probably the more difficult part because you have a freestanding structure that is not supposed to be freestanding. But you definitely put it together. Now, as you can tell, I'm pretty sloppy with this. I don't really care how well it goes on the first coat, as long as every inch gets covered. The second coat will make sure that everything gets a smoother finish, and we can fill in some of these gaps that are down here and these grooves that are in the wood. Normally you use wood putty and sand it in. I think the wood putty takes away from the overall look. I think just painting over it kind of gives it a little bit more character. Now, some people have said that is a excuse because I'm lazy, and I will agree with them 100%, but I also do prefer the way that looks. So, now, the other thing is I was thinking about painting the smaller boards black. However, I think that gives it a little too much going on, because we just want a simple, plain white wishing well. If we're going to do anything crazy, it'll be on the roof, and we can always go back and paint it black if it looks like it'll work better. On top of this, we may even, depending on how this dries, settle for a whitewash look, because whitewash is in, so it might work out better that way. But remember, it's all what the client might want, whoever you're building this for. This I'm actually going to give to my mom, so she'll be happy with whatever I give her, because she has no idea that's happening. But she goes for more traditional styles, so plain white would probably be best. Maybe the whitewash, but I doubt it. See, this is some chrome spray paint. Now, one of the things I was thinking about doing was putting lights on the inside of this, so chrome's reflective. And this will also protect it. And this is a lot quicker. The inside doesn't matter as much. As long as it's got a protection on it, then who cares? If I get any on the rim, I can always paint over it. Now this says it's for metal. I've used it for a lot of wood and plastic. Usually nothing too on display because I am very sloppy with paint, especially spray paint. Careful not to breathe in the fumes. Now, generally speaking, you should do that in a closed or an open environment. But the garage door is open, and I knew I wasn't going to be staying in here very long. So we're going to let that dry. And what I'm actually going to do is throw it on a cart. Throw it out in the driveway for right now. Normally you don't handle things when they're wet. I do. Alright. Throw this out here into the sun. There, it'll dry and everything will be good. Alright, while that is drying out there, we're going to work on the top, which will hold the roof and the bucket and all of that. For that, it's going to take some engineering. I have some 2x3s that are left over from another project. I think we'll use those to go up. And I use 2x2s and 1x2s that I have left over to do the roof. I also got 1x3 that I can use as well. So let's get started on that.